And that is why yours truly, a Mexican Crossing Lines, holds people accountable. I have made many enemies along the way because I have chosen to continue to tell people about the crimes committed in the Kathleen Bennett story. And the reason for that is there were many people involved that committed a heinous crime. They falsely accused, falsely imprisoned a woman for 6 months. They framed her completely. They kidnapped her mother and left her to die in a hospital. They put Mary Trujillo in an early grave, and they did not give a rip about her life. And those criminals went on to go do other things in their life. And if they were the type of people that would lay low and be ashamed of their participation in these activities, then yes, maybe we could go on with our lives and not worry that they're going to put other people in danger in the horrible way that they did to Kathleen Bennett and her mom. But that's not what's happening, folks. That's not what's happened. So we have to hold these folks accountable because they think they're going to go out there and do the work. They think they're going to go out there and give justice and respite and care and comfort to people in disasters, in horrible situations of trauma, of loss, like missing and murdered Indigenous women, like having people that are victims of violent crime or rape. That is why the last time that I did this show, I showed you that Melanie and Christina Hollenbeck are still friends to this day. Let me show you again. Here's Melanie talking about her work now on missing and murdered Indigenous women. And she says, I never discredit anyone in the missing and murdered Indigenous women movement because if you're doing the work, that's all that matters. No, Melanie, that's not all that matters. If you are a criminal kidnapper, you can't be. Don't you understand that part of the missing and murdered Indigenous woman is the missing part? Kidnapper lady?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be a kidnapper that left an elderly person, a person that's a vulnerable adult, to die in a hospital and be like, I want to be at the forefront of doing that work now. That's not how it works. You never even apologized for your actions. You have never atoned publicly. You have never been held to account. So no, you do not get to head up any missing and murdered Indigenous nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Show again what she said. She says, it purely a sacrifice and commitment and dedication. No, it is not just purely sacrifice and commitment and dedication. You also have to have honesty, integrity, and you cannot be a kidnapper. She said, we all had a dream and focus point to help families, irregardless of community, rumors, or family member rumors. It's not a rumor. We exonerated Kathleen Bennett. You're the one who framed her, Melanie Stoneman, with the help of Christina Hollenbeck and Bill Running Fisher kidnapping her. You committed a crime. The fact that you were not charged for it, the fact that you were never punished for it, doesn't mean that you're not a dangerous, kidnapping, murderous criminal. You put that woman in an early grave. And do you remember that Kathleen Bennett was being threatened with getting a homicide charge if her mother died in jail?
Yeah.
That is what her public defender told her. That is what we reported on this show. We were able to get Kathleen out of jail and her mother out of that hospital and back with her family. If it had not been for the work of some kind witnesses that stepped in to help, and the media justice work of yours truly, my husband, our team, and this station at 88.1 FM, Kathleen might have been charged with the crime that Melanie Stoneman committed, which was putting that woman in an early grave. And you know what? You don't get to get away with that. and then go on to try to put yourself in the limelight as somebody that helps victims. I'm sorry. That's not how it works, especially when you have never apologized, never accepted what you did and atoned for it. No, you don't get a pass. Here she goes on saying, it's not our way to braid our prayers with chaos. It is our way to find our missing. It is your way to kidnap women, so you don't get to go find missing people. This year, we were able to bring home over 7 girls or women. We? Who's we? I don't know who you're working with, Melanie, but you need to stay away from vulnerable people, especially missing people, because you're a criminal. We were a huge part of finding Olivia Lone Bear, and we are working on the Bring Joe Home Missing from Devil's Lake area. Our women count too. Everything we do, imbalance, missing and murdered Indigenous women, missing and murdered Indigenous girls. Missing and murdered Indigenous, I don't know what those other ones are. Love to all of those doing the work. Keep going. Here's who liked that post. Here's some of the people that liked that post. Take a look. You've got Faith Spotted Eagle, one of the people that ordered the camp to be raided in the story of Kathleen Bennett, that was working with L'Oreal Blackshaw, the woman that was giving the orders to the Veterans Stand for Standing Rock people that were paid for by Wes Clark Jr. And Michael A. Wood Jr. Here they are. This is the woman that gave her the right to start her women's society at the camp, which she used to kidnap Mary Trujillo and falsely frame Kathleen Bennett. And here is a post with her tagging Christina Hollenbeck, because they're still pals. They're still gal pals. And she's stating there, I want to know how you can help from home. She's trying to work on fighting sex trafficking. This is a woman that had her daughter involved in this crime of kidnapping Mary Trujillo and taking her and putting her in that hospital. The same woman, Melanie Stoneman, had her daughter, the one that got raped later by the same folks she was working with. Yeah. That Mike Fassig's son, Ed Higgins, Aubrey Peckham, they were all working with the security teams that kidnapped Mary Trujillo and put Kathleen Bennett in jail falsely. Those people were all working together. And her daughter got raped as a result of the people that she was hanging out with, which Melanie was responsible for working with also. This is what happens to anyone near Melanie. It's not a coincidence that an elder woman ended up in a hospital with bed sores and nearly died, and died early because of Melanie Stoneman. It's not a coincidence that Kathleen Bennett ended up framed for a crime she didn't commit in a jail for 6 months because she was around Melanie Stoneman. It is not a coincidence that one of the foster kids that was being cared for by Melanie Stoneman ended up getting involved in this crime of kidnapping. And it is not a coincidence that she ended up getting raped by one of their cohorts later on, because mayhem, raping, and crimes follow this criminal kidnapper, Melanie Stoneman, everywhere she goes. That's what happens around these folks if you haven't been paying attention. Melanie doesn't have a degree, but she did claim to be a medic, I will have you recall.
Oh, yeah.
Here she is tagged in a post with the mother of a baby that Melanie Stoneman is now getting involved in the present.
Wow.
I told you in my last show, she's getting involved in trying to take care of this baby that is being taken away from the woman Aldney Two Eagle II. And she posts, we have an inherent right. No, you do not, entitled woman, entitled sellout criminal.
Yeah.
Melanie, you do not have a right. These entitled people like Kavanaugh and Trump and Melanie Stoneman think they have a right to do whatever the hell they want. But you don't. You don't. Not when you've committed crimes and you have never had to be punished for or atoned for. No, you don't. And she says, I don't need a law degree. Tired of systemic institutional genocide. What if it was your baby? Hashtag what if it was your baby? I don't care whose baby it is. It should be nowhere near a kidnapper like you.
Yep.
I shudder to think what happens to any children or vulnerable people near you, because I've already seen what happens in your wake everywhere you go.